Welcome to the Ideal Spaces Working Group podcast.
This is an Ideal Spaces podcast from Ulrich Gehmann and Grant Rainham with Liga about her activities in Latvia. And perhaps, Liga, you could introduce yourself and what you are doing.
Yes. Hi, Ulrich and Graham. I'm Liga from Latvia, and I own a motion capture studio, biggest in Baltics, here in Riga. And mostly we produce like animated political satire series every week. So that's what we do.
Okay, and as regards animation, do you see animation and animation movies in general as a good means to reach the younger generation as regards their interest?
As you and me know, their younger generations are not interested in any news. They are don't watch regular TV. They usually get information from social media, like, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, maybe Threads, and so on. So animation is the way how can we reach younger audiences. So yes, I think it's a good way to reach them.
And is there a specific way in your animations as regards a certain approach you choose in your animations to explicitly reach the younger generation?
The animation which you are making now is more for older generations, but now we are in pre-production is the one we will make for younger audiences. And actually there is a big difference, because if you want to reach millennials and older generations, you use a different approach. But for younger generations, they're more into social media, they're more into trends. For example, you choose the song which is a more popular now, but for millennials, they won't listen to for that song. So you need to, like as we say, play chess, like 3D chess, and in many parts you need to focus on. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, with your new series that you're doing for youth, is social media or let's say like YouTubes and so forth really the media that you really are focusing on?
Yes, you can focus on all media together. Actually, you can put the show on a TV, and also you put it on YouTube. You like doing also some shorts in YouTube, also TikTok. It's just in every social media you put different kind of stuff. So yes, it's a lot of work, but you can reach the audiences which you like to, but you need to specifically like target them. It's like there's a saying that the 13-year-old girls runs the internet. So they find out new stuff. They set up trends. So also, if you build a new show for example 18 plus, still the younger audiences run the internet, so they found trends. So you also need to think about them. So you maybe put some trendy song, or you just you also think about younger audiences. You keep in mind, because they run the internet.
As regards the general intention of your activities at all, what is the general intention? Why you do it? What you hope to achieve with your activities?
Well, at the first when we began this, we didn't have any like purpose, but now in these times when the world is shifting every day, and then you start to think, what can I do about it? So and then we in our team came up with some new ideas, and that want to make some also new show for younger audiences, also to reach younger people, because they are the new generation which will vote for somebody. So it's also good that they know what's happening out there, and also it's more easy for people if they have a good laugh about it. So
Mhm.
I
so
mean,
that's why satire is a good approach for these things.
I mean, with your approach, I mean, we know like Latvia, Western Europe, there's major political shifts going on, also socio and economic shifts, right? So basically, the conceptualization of democracy, is that presented through your through the work you're doing?
Yes, of course. It's like I think we can see what's happening in USA, that you can shift democracy quite in a short while. So we all need to think about it. What can we do to stay in democracy? And yes, of course, we are Latvia is in the Eastern Europe, so we have a big neighbor which is not very democratic, which is Russia. So yes, we are thinking about it quite a lot. So
And do you
we
think like,
prefer,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, we prefer to be in democracy, not to be in like Soviet times, which we had when we were joining Soviet Union in after
Right.
World War II.
So basically, like, in your formats that you've done to, like, let's say the older generation, if I can use that term,
Yeah.
versus what you're coming up with this younger generation, what are the differences, or what are the preferences in presenting democracy in the two different venues?
Well, actually, there's a one thing more, which is for younger audiences. Like our main showrunner is like a very clever guy. He's really educated, and he knows about culture. He knows about movies. He's very educated in political things. And
Mhm.
sometimes I say that he's too clever. He makes like very good jokes, and also like evidence from some movies, and so he puts all together, and it's for younger audiences it's quite difficult to understand it, because we really, the younger the people get, they are more stupid. Sorry for that, but it is like that. So the education level is becoming worse and worse. So we also need to remember that if we make show for younger generations, it needs to be more simple, more understandable, like simpler jokes, simpler topics. So
Yeah. I mean, in Latvia today, I mean, it's a very beautiful country. Uh, the political pressures are quite high, I would think, because you're on the front of the NATO front. You're also on the borders, I think, Belarus, Russia, these countries. In Latvia now, do the younger generation, for instance, are they still enjoying life, or do they feel these pressures?
actually, during the everyday life, we don't feel any pressure. So, so I don't think of course, maybe it depends on person, but like me myself, I'm just living the everyday like a normal day. We have this neighbor all my life. I don't know the other situation. So it's from the day I was born, there was a big nasty neighbor. So it's just how we live. But I don't feel like a big pressure or so. There's a fight all the time, like a bit.
Mhm.
Then sometimes it's more tense sometimes it's less tense, but it's like this all the time. So it's how do you put a perspective on it? So it's.
I mean, in your point of view, like the European Union, you're part of the European Union.
Yes.
Do you feel that the European Union is achieving its goals for what Latvia needs, for instance?
Well, it depends. It's very difficult to say that, for example, Portuguese people will understand us. They're quite far away from us, and they don't have the same problems as we do. So the European Union is like compromising all the time, and I think it's we have good compromising going on. So yes, I think it's very good that we are in European Union, because Ukraine wasn't. So you see what's happening there. So
yeah. I mean, do you think the European Union has brought benefits to Latvia?
Yes, of course, all the time. We have better roads. We have more money coming in from the more wealthy countries from European Union. So we have better roads. They also for renovation, we have many things. So you can get for projects, roads, renovations, many more. So yeah, it's we feel it in everyday basis.
Okay. As regards let's say, the very understanding of democracy, has there been any benefits from the European Union that an understanding of democracy has been raised in the Latvian population? The background is I worked in my former job in the 90s. I worked in these Eastern European countries, and there was the need to raise a basic understanding what democracy is at all, and how it could be of benefit for us, the inhabitants of the respective country. Has there been a comparable process in Latvia as regards positive influences from European Union, for instance, cultural programs or political programs? Or what's about the situation of the understanding of democracy in Latvia now?
I think it's not only in Latvia, but in whole Europe and also America. There's but the democracy is shifting. I think you also feel it, because when you live in good times, you somehow you don't appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are wondering, what's maybe communism wasn't that bad, or maybe socialism isn't that bad, and maybe it's even better, because if you live in good times for a long time, even more for younger audiences, younger people, they think that maybe that's more interesting. So that's the main reason why now the democracy is shifting.
Yeah.
Because the people don't appreciate it. They don't know, the younger generations just don't know how it's to live with socialism or communism. So and some of the older people also forgot it. So in these times it's shifting, and also the European Union bureaucracy is growing a lot. So they're also spending a lot of money, which shouldn't be spent in those ways. So the people are questioning, is this really the best thing we can live in? So it's just it's also the European Union should change during the times, because there are more and more people, more and more bureaucracy, more and more everything. And then if you want to put on a paper everything, it's very difficult, and people start to question it.
Yeah. As regards this questioning, which tendencies you see? Is there a rise in this questioning, as the rise in doubt, if we really live in a democracy now, and one step further, if we do really need a democracy, or how the how the development is according to your experiences.
Well, one of my favorite social media platforms is Threads. So I read there a lot, comments and so on, and you can see the people are raising these questions, and also one of the main reasons why they are raising it because of Russia. Also, Russia is spending a lot of money for propaganda for impact Europe, so that democracy is not the best thing you have. It's like, for example, oh, you can join the Soviet Union and it would be better. So it's also they're working a lot in comment section and in other ways to impact those people, and those people also start to question it, really, like maybe it's better or maybe so. It's like in even more in Eastern Europe, it's quite easy to raise these questions because we are so close to Russia, and yes, it's happening.
Yeah, and the Eastern European populations have the comparison as far as also for comparison, as far as I experienced it during my work in these countries, there have been large promises that the free market economy in the end will liberate people. And this has not been the case for major fractions of the population. Is this reflected also in recent tendencies and comments about democracy?
Well, I haven't seen this topic a lot, so but yes, it could be so. Yes, also for this one.
So from your point of view, I mean, even in the work you're doing in animation, basically one could basically say that you see political forces sort of affecting the daily life, like in Western Europe, for instance, and other places, and therefore the importance of your work is kind of to counter these influences, right?
Yes, they're all the time. All the left wing, the right wing, they try to impact you. Like Russia tries to impact Europe, Europe tries to impact Russia, America tries to impact everybody. So it's going via versa all the time. So yeah. So it's very difficult to stay in the middle of it.
And basically, in looking at the work you're doing and everything, and yourself personally, do you feel that there's a positive to the future, or do you feel there's a negativity to the future?
Oh, I'm always positive. I don't know if it's good, but it's just all the time I question myself, what can I do about it? So if I just start to cry and say, oh, there is no future in us, then it won't be. If I say it's fine, I can do this and that, and I have plan B, C, then it's I'm always positive about it, because I think everything is in our hands. So what we will think, what we will do will impact all the others, and sometimes we need only one person who can shift everybody to good or to bad. We have quite good examples in history for that. So
yes, we have.
Yeah, and in Latvia, for instance, in dealing with these subjects, because you're on the forefront, I mean, you're a front runner on this kind of materials. Do you really see that you're able to penetrate or create a new collective consciousness, a new identity for younger people in the future?
actually, this is a very good question. I don't think we are doing our best. I don't think we are doing our best. So it's quite difficult, because we have quite big Russian population, like during the World War, after the World War II and occupation years. Many Russians came to Latvia. It's about 20% of all population in Latvia, and it's very difficult to make like Latvians and Russians to make it like a one country, because we read different news. We read we are interested in different values and different things. We do different things. So, and after these, like we are already like 30 years in free Latvia, and free independent, and so we are still like doing like we're completely two different like nations in one country. So it's very like it's we're not succeeding in this way, but
So there's no amalgamation socially, economically, politically, then, really, is there?
yes, it's just that at the first independence years, it was still we were influenced by Russia a lot, so they didn't let us to like be quite independent. So it took many years to change even the road names and and some old Soviet stuff to get rid of it. So it takes really a long time for such a small country to change it. But I think it's becoming better, and it's also on us. So how proud of we are of our country or of ourselves, because there are also many Latvians who just, if they see Russian, they start to speak Russian. So why do they do that? How can Russian people learn Latvian if they never speak Latvian? So it's also like we need to do our individual part of it. So, but it's becoming better, and we have plenty of nice Russians living here. So I think after years it will become better and better. So.
I mean, and you as a Latvian, I mean, what do you want for the future of Latvia?
Well, it's also a very good question. It's just, as you know, the people in Europe are getting like population is getting older and older, and we are the population is decreasing everywhere. The birth rates are not very promising, so we are becoming less and less. But I don't think it's actually bad for Latvia, because we live here like in like a kind of sacred space, because we have very great forests. We have a very long seaside and beaches, and here it's like really calm, and also people who live in Western Europe, they also can move here to just experience the power of nature, and to see the birds where it's instinct in other parts of Europe. You can see all these things here, so we can make some like nature park or something here in Latvia. I think that would be some part, some kind of vision I have. Like we could use also only use like we can grow only biological vegetables and so on. So look like more into nature and live together with it, not against it.
And in Riga, I mean, like, it's a beautiful city.
It is.
Do you see, is there any deterioration in the central area? Because we've been noticing through work we've been doing in cities in a number of countries that the city core, which used to be where the center is, are sort of becoming a little bit voided of people moving out. I mean, COVID was the first thing that started that, of course. But do you see that affecting the cities, the big cities in Latvia, for instance, also?
Well, you can see it for the businesses, because when the COVID started, people understood that they can get everything in internet, and the small businesses, which they have shops in the center, you see that they switch to only internet shopping, and that is the thing I see. But still, they're like, Riga is not like very big city. It's like 1 million people here, and it's quite green. We have parks and so on. So people like, which they, if you like to live in center, they still keep living in center. But what is specific in Latvia is like almost every Latvian has his own house in countryside, or his grandmother is living there, or some friends and so on. So we are going quite a lot, like in the weekends or on vacations outside the Riga. So we spend a lot of time in nature. So if you live in center, you can get in like 30 minutes to seaside or to forest. So we are into nature all the time.
I think this is an essential part of your identity, this aspect of nature. If we take this one step further, what could be done, let's say, in combination with a living in the city, a democratic improvement, let's call it this, as an improvement in terms of consciousness, how valuable democracy is, how valuable nature is. What could be your wish for the future, your wishes, your hopes, how your country could develop, and how not only your country but how Europe should develop in the future?
Well, I think we need to develop more like in thinking about the nature, because we here in Latvia, as you said, we are like all together. We with nature, we think about it all the time, because even me, if I go to some festivals like Berlinale or Cannes, after it, I definitely will go to my countryside for a week just to look out the window to the trees. So I think it's very important to think about it, to not destroy it, because we can live all together like in about one organism. And it's also like democracy is like keeping it all together, so we can live in peace and in harmony. So I think it's somehow like keeping us together. So
Mhm. This is an important relation between a democracy and nature.
If I can shift a little bit, Europe as an entity, which Latvia is part of, we have the European Union. Do you see Europe as becoming a stronger, cohesive, common, collective union, or do you think it's weakening?
actually, it's too bad, but I think it's weakening, because, as I said before, the European Union needs to change. Otherwise, it's really weakening because of the bureaucracy and all the paperwork and all. European Union is weakening because of it's like there are more and more bureaucracy, there are more and more people, they're traveling a lot, and this whole thing, I think, is just and there's even less and less money in every country. So European Union should change, otherwise they will keep going and doing less impact on countries, and people will start to think more about different values and not they will be not tended to democracy. So that's the thing, the topic they need to be talked.
Okay. In which direction you think the European Union or Europe in general, apart from the Union as an organizational body, as a formal body, in which direction a mindset of European citizens has to be changed in order to make Europe, to cite a known president, in order to make Europe strong again?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, as I said before, it's just it needs to be like a big reformation done there, because I think there's like have you visited the European Parliament, for example? Yes, there's like 700, I don't know how many, a bit more than 700 members of parliament, and they all have assistants, and then it's like a very, very huge institution. So they're traveling from Bristol to Luxembourg to Strasbourg. They're traveling a lot. It's like it's very it's not cost efficient. So, and also all this paperwork, if you see that they try to put a law on everything because the people are raising questions and they want to help everybody. So it's, I don't know how can you improve it, but they're just, it's all that, it's not very cost efficient. And even nowadays when we need to spend money on other things, more than, and then people start to questioning it. So I don't know how it could be done, but it should be less bureaucracy and even less people and so on.
Yeah. How you would envisage a positive European future? Let's make it this way. This is just a projection, also just a vision from your side.
Well, actually, I think Europe is a very good place to live, so it's quite good now. Also, the immigration questions are rising now because the many people from Africa, from Asia, from eastern parts wants to live in Europe, but the Europe has their own capacity, and also it's as you can see from Germany, from Sweden, it's quite difficult if there are growing other like people coming from Africa or eastern parts. If there are a lot of people there from other countries, they're becoming more conflicts and so on. So I don't think Europe needs to be so open to immigrants.
That's it's a point of cultural values and the adaptation.
Yeah, also religion, cultural.
Mhm.
And so on. It's just they are good people, most of them, but it's still it's very difficult to live. Like it's nice when you visit other countries, but if you start to live there, they're completely different people. So it's it is
different issue. There's a different issue. I know it by experience. The point is coming back in these regards to the notion of a collective consciousness related to a feeling for identity. A collective consciousness has to grow up. It cannot be commanded from above, and it cannot be commanded by a European Union, a bureaucracy. Now you have to accept our values, which they are. Now you have to behave in this direction. Why? And so on. If we look at this point of collective consciousness, and if one could state that a viable collective consciousness is the very base of culture, and therefore also a source of strength, also of political strength for organizations like, for instance, the European Union. It's no matter of organization, it's a matter of consciousness. How such a collective consciousness could develop in your opinion and based on your experience, and what your activities, your animation movie activities, your specific activities could contribute to raise a collective consciousness.
Well, to raise a collective consciousness, actually, I think the best thing to do is to meditate. And one thing I practice a Vipassana meditation, and I think if you practice a lot, you somehow rise your consciousness. So I think that's the best thing we could do, because it's also a good example from parts of Asia, because they use meditation in daily life, and you can see the people are more calmer, and I think they're even more consciousness. Maybe they live in a less like environment is not as good as in Europe, but the people are more happy. They appreciate more things, more simple things, and so the meditation is maybe answer for this. Not maybe, it is an answer.
Okay, on an individual level as a starting point, okay. Another aspect
Yeah,
is,
but we need to start as individuals because I said before, like the one person can change a lot. So if we change our inner engineering, then if everybody will do their part, so then everything will become better.
yes, an additional aspect in a, are the cultural values. You can develop a collective consciousness, in particular in direction to democracy. You can develop a collective consciousness only if you share some common values. Common values are the base of identity next to other things. How to come to common values as regards the recent situation, and how your specific work in making animations could contribute to raising which kind of common values?
Well, I think like living in European Union is already a common situation and common values. And my animation work is the way also to do it. It's like you can raise topics which are important for us and for all the nations and people. It's just you can impact quite a lot with it. So you can raise the questions which are important or which are not important, which are maybe even less talked, but you can raise them. So it is a way to do it.
Yeah, because I think with animation, you not only have the spoken words, you have the visuality, right?
Yeah. So that's why we also do it through animation, because you can reach everybody through it. It's like if you make a good animation and the topics are interesting, everybody will be interested, like kids and grown-ups and so on.
Mhm.
Is there anything you'd like to say to conclude this interview, or any point you'd like to make?
I'd like to say that we need to keep up the good spirit and to work on our inside engineering and if we work good with ourselves, then everybody will have a good life. So
Okay. Yeah. Many thanks for this podcast.
thank you
We have to thank
for
you.
inviting me.
No, thank you for being. We really appreciate it.